People, welcome to Newspaper Breakdown, the 2nd of the 1st, 23, first one of the year. Happy New Year, I hope we all had one. Going to be going through some of the news, not all the news of course, there's tons of news and some of it gets remarkably repetitive, so you'd literally be saying the same thing every fucking month. And although will still, even with that, we'll still be covering some of the stuff that is seemingly daily. We won't be dealing with all of it. But we'll start with laws that are going to be coming in 2023. Once again, not even all of them, because you've still got the additions of the Nationality and Borders Bill, Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill, and things like that that are coming in, removing your freedoms from you. But we've got the voter IDs that you're going to be required to have for elections. We're not prepared for it. We're not, and voter IDs they're such a stupid idea. It is remarkable. It's continually claimed that it's being brought in to stop the voter fraud. That isn't happening. It just isn't fucking happening. It's a power grab. Now that's what it is. It's why old people are able to use their bus passes, but young people can't use their rail cards, because it's a power grab. That's the attempt. The law has been criticised by the Public Administration and Constitutional Affairs Committee, which has warned that black, transgender and disabled voters will be hit hardest by the introduction, a selection of people who don't tend to vote for the Tories, because you don't tend to vote for people who actively seemingly want to get the fuck rid of you. I mean, you'd hope not. You would really hope not. Now, from April, the minimum wage will rise by 92p per hour to £10.42, bringing annual earnings for full-time workers up by around £1,600. Good news. We need the minimum wage up. You see, you've got a cost of living crisis. More people need to be earning more money, don't they? Also from April, local councils will be allowed to increase their tax bills by 5%. So that will be this year, meaning bills for some households could rise by £2,000 a year. So, as is the Tory way, they take with one hand and they slap you around the fucking head with the other, and then steal the fucking money. Thieving bastards. That should have been give with one hand, slap, and then steal. That's how it should have been. That's how that would have made more sense as a sentence, but we live, we learn. Current rules with regards to council tax, current rules state that England councils cannot raise bills by more than a certain amount, which is normally like 2.99%, without the public having a say. However, that's being ignored because MPs believe that you are beneath them and should just be happy that you're breathing the same fucking air as them. We've also got an £86,000 cap has been placed onto social care costs. Good news. This is for the old, and that will come in the autumn. But those with assets between £75,000 and £150,000 will be forced to pay more. Not a fucking clue why either. I do not understand why. This, of course, has been criticised, saying that this will affect the north disproportionately to everyone else, because house prices are not as high in the north, so they've got a higher chance of being in that gap where they have to pay more. It makes no fucking sense to me. You know, I would have done. I mean, hell, 150k plus. What's a 75 to 100? What's the thought process behind it? They're actively looking to fuck over. It makes no sense. Energy price cap is expected to be scaled back in April, so hopefully everything's going to be fine by then. It was meant to be 2 years, the energy cap. It was meant to be put in place for 2 years, but then Jeremy Hunt said no. So I mean, just have a quick look at that, because it's the type of story you see there where they go, right, minimum wage is up. You know, they go, this is fantastic. Finally, you're doing something. Finally, you are doing something for the poor. Well done. This is what we need. And then the next 3 things coming in this year are you're fucked. That's the truth of it. If you actually look, all the good is always covered in shit. The retained EU law bill in 2022 is set to amend, repeal, or replace nearly all of the EU laws that we've kept after we left the EU in 2020. This is coming in at the end, so it's going to be like the 31st of December. Everything turns. We're not ready for it, and we won't be, and it will be an absolute shit show. It will be monumentally fucking impressive. Because the thing is, for this, you have to be prepared for it. It's one of the reasons that I don't talk about Brexit much, because it bores me to tears. But if you want to talk about the major problems that we face with Brexit, the major problem, and our biggest fuck up, was at the very start. When the people were conned into voting to leave the EU for whatever reason you believe that you did it. The day after the referendum, everyone was out there. All of the big hitters, your Jeremy Corbyns, your Theresa Mays, and everyone saying, right, what we need to do is, and Cameron and all of this, is we need to enact Article 50 straight away. Now, Article 50, when you enact it, gave you 2 years. That's what it did. It was a pointless thing. What you do first is you negotiate, you get a deal, then you enact Article 50, and that's how. Then you got 2 years with the deal, you get everything done. But we're surrounded by stupid people. It's always important to remember that even a god like Jeremy Corbyn was fundamentally wrong there. And this, you'll notice I go after all the MPs because I don't trust any of them. I don't like any of them. I also do not believe that you should ever have a hero or a god, and you should certainly not chant anyone's fucking name. That man, it's not even him. He's fine. It's his supporters. I find them to be untrustworthy, shall we say. Be nice on that. A few more stories, 3 more stories, then we're done. In 2020 to 21, private mental health providers earn over £1 million a day from the NHS, yet 1 in 4 services from the main providers are inadequate or require improvement. For patient safety. This is the continuation of our attempt to privatise the NHS, and every bit of privatisation in this country has shown to be willfully inadequate. And the thing is governments, time and time again, have done nothing to hold companies to account. They don't need to. We make sure that they never make a loss. They are there just to make money, not to do anything of any use for anyone, just to make money. But they will keep on telling you over and over that the strikes are affecting the working man. The strikes are affecting the working man. You good working man bastard, you're being affected by the strikes. But at no point are they saying, well, why are we paying you this money? Why have you got this contract to run important parts of this country where you're fucking up? How do we continue to allow it to happen? Because they're all friends. Tories are continuing to fuck the NHS. The latest particular news after the mental health look at all the money is deaths of an estimated 300 to 500 people each week are caused by delays in emergency care. This is a pandemic. People are dying in their hundreds weekly because of what the Tories have done to the NHS. This is it, and they're continually to do it. You can be of the conspiracy side, where you say, right, Tories are screwing it over so much so they can say that it's not fit for you, so they can sell it. You can think like that. You can think how I think, that the reason that the Tories are doing this is because they get sexual pleasure from poor people dying. My thought on it. I just think that it has to be, or they require this many deaths to try to do the spell that they want to do to bring fucking Thatcher back from the grave. It has to be something. I'm unwilling to allow the idea that has seeped into society that the right-minded, real intelligent people, the Tories are just trying their best. They are still human. No. 12 years of fucking barbarity suggests that's not human. That is not anymore. This is an authoritarian want at this point. Cruelty, evil, and they fucking love it. Oh, they're just people. Don't go hunting them. You know, death leads to death. You know, violence begets violence. But the idea I'm meant to bow down to them and go, oh no, they're just trying their best. If this is their best, fuck off. You're not good enough. Any other walk of life, hell, even if you were a footballer playing this badly, they would have fucked you off by now, for Christ's sake. Finally, the last year, China's warplane incursions into Taiwan's air defense zones nearly doubled. This is a concern, because with the Ukrainian, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, China are keeping a very close eye, and this is what I don't get with some of the left, and they always like to go, wars end in conversation, in negotiation. All wars end in negotiation. They don't. World War II didn't end in negotiation. It ended with fucking Hitler blowing his head up and fucking the US dropping a nuke. That's what happened. So this fucking conception that all wars end in negotiation. We potentially do have to end with negotiating with Russia. It would be the best way, but that can only occur when Russia wants something less than the eradication of Ukraine. And we have to continue to keep in mind that whatever happens here from Russia and Ukraine, that is going to have an effect on what China does with Taiwan. Because the moment we bend an inch to Russia, China's going to invade Taiwan. That's my opinion on it. They are going to be in there like a fucking heartbeat. The only plus we've got at the moment is China isn't massively backing Russia. Because if they were, China would already be in Taiwan. And so, touch wood, they don't go into Taiwan, but when they do, because they are gonna, hopefully, they will not get the backing of Russia in the same way that China hasn't given the backing to Russia for their invasion of Ukraine. That's all we can hope. But that's why it's so important, if you're looking and you're seeing it and you're going, right, what do we do about Ukraine and Russia? You can't just say, well, you have to fucking give up Crimea, you have to give up the Donbass region. You can't do that, because there's other lives on the line. This is vastly more, and this is why the left have never been fantastic at foreign policy, because you're so fucking one-sided in the thinking. I don't know. Anyway, it's just some opinions and views in it. I will catch you all tomorrow.